Capital Devil's Elbow Bridge. Brian.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first report revolves around the release of maintenance holdback on a contract that started several years ago and spanned a little longer than originally anticipated. So with your authorization, we'd be able to release the remaining holdback that is in a separate account right now. And it recognizing that it wasn't the contractor's ultimately his fault that he had to be longer than he anticipated before the project was considered complete.
Okay, I'll read the recommendation. The recommendation is that the release of the maintenance holdback on the Devil's Elbow Bridge rehabilitation to the general contractor be approved. Is there a mover or seconder for that motion? Moved by Mike, seconded by Robert. Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor of the recommendation? Those opposed? It's carried. Brian, we're moving on to items B, a 4x4 regular cab pickup truck.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Just to make you aware, our report identifies the award of a truck. We had tendered for 4 trucks, generally pickup trucks, crew cabs, extended cabs, regular cabs. We've awarded 3 of the 4 trucks, but one of the trucks, it became apparent that it would be desirable to move ahead as we recommend. So, Mr. Chairperson, on that front of the 4 trucks that we have awarded already, one was a crew cab, what was awarded to a GM dealer, and another was 2 extended cabs with small engines awarded to Dodge. And for the 4th truck is we're recommending that we move ahead with awarding for a GM product.
I'll read the recommendation that the tender be awarded to Hudson's, the lowest GM supplier, for a total of $32,800, excluding taxes. And that's for a 4x4 regular cab half-ton pickup. A mover for that recommendation, moved by Mitch, second by Ann. Any discussion on the motion? Where, Brian, is Hudson's located? Well, that's Listowel. Okay. I'll leave it at that. Any other discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion? It's carried. Item C, Brian, bylaw to establish waste management future planning reserve fund.
A bit of an administrative matter, Mr. Chairman. Back many years ago when Waste Management went from the Planning Committee to the Highways Committee, there was a bylaw that read that the large fund, which is in excess of $1 million today, would be administered by the ATP Committee. This is just a matter of clarifying that that decision-making power rests with the Highways Committee, and that's the purpose of this bylaw.
The recommendation reads that a new bylaw be introduced to replace bylaw 3546, a bylaw to establish the Waste Management Future Planning Reserve Fund, and that bylaw 3546 be repealed. Have a mover on the motion, moved by Dave, second by Robert. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion then? It's carried. Brian? Correspondence. Referred items A, Carson's Camp.
Mr. Chairman, attached to your report is the request from Carson's Camp to consider pedestrian or signalized crossings at their campsite. We did include a map, and I think everyone's aware that they're in Saba Beach, and they're composed of the large site on the east side of, well, there's Bruce Road 13, the large site on the east side of the road, and another large site on the west side of the road. And they've had concern with people and cars crossing the road. So the department has reviewed this thing in a very preliminary manner, and we've made arrangements to meet on site in the next couple of months to go over some alternatives.
Is that okay with everyone? correspondence today, and you're going to meet with Carson's and report back.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Information items, class environmental assessment.
Now, I'm wondering if this may be prudent to leave this as for information or to place this back on a further agenda. It might be worthwhile to put this on a future agenda. I'm looking maybe for some support or guidance from the CAO.
Through you, Mr. Chair, if committee support the recommendation, it could be deferred to the next committee meeting in March, if you wish.
So what do we require, Kelly?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the committee can just give direction that we bring this item back at the March meeting.
It's just being deferred today till March.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that okay with everyone?
It's for information purposes.
Yes, an information item. Everyone's okay with that? It's deferred till March, subject to your recommendation, Brian.
Yeah, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Super.
Oh. So that puts us at Bridge and Culvert Capital then, Brian.
Just an information report, Mr. Chairman, that sort of the next steps in the McCurdy Bridge replacement environmental assessment. We went over some of this at the last meeting, but when we look forward into all the activities that had to be accomplished in the very near future, it was recently felt that we're going to have to take a bit more time, get all the ducks, so to speak, in order, and come back in March and April to the committee and with recommendations since the comment period for the EA, the phase 3 of the EA ends at the end of this month. So, we've got an arrangement with the two local municipalities that I think requires a bit more discussion. And that may have influence on the solution. So my thought is we'll await the comment period at the end of February. We'll make a recommendation to the March committee about another preliminary preferred. We'll go equipped with that to the two local municipalities for an agreement on cost sharing. And there was some uncertainty on that cost sharing.
Very good.
We can't move forward today because we haven't received all the comments from the last round of environmental assessment in that notice period that we had on the public meeting we recently held.
Very good. Item C is the Ontario Good Roads Association Award, Brian.
Yes, I believe Brent is going to assist us. We're very pleased to indicate that OGRA think highly of a department initiative that was very broad, and actually it's a county initiative. Apologies, it's a county initiative, not a department initiative. And maybe I'm just going to let Brent follow up.
Thank you, Brian. Actually, right. If you click on the, you can close those out. Or minimize them. So let's start off.
There's that one. Good.
And that one. Good. Mr. Chairman and members of Highway Committee, as Brian has already indicated to you, it gives me great pleasure to inform you that Bruce County itself has been recognized, is going to be recognized at this year's OGRA Annual Awards Luncheon, and we're going to be receiving an award. And OGRA has a annual award that they provide, have a competition for, and it's called the John Niedermeyer Best Practices Award. And I think if some of you may recall, the county received an award approximately 6 or 7 years ago for equipment innovation. And there's a placard hanging on the outside wall out here, and Bruce County received an award for equipment innovation at that time. And this is a province-wide award, so it's a very prestigious award that we received. And again, we are very fortunate, and I have to say that innovation played a very, very key role in the success of of our department achieving this award this year. And what we're receiving it for is for management innovation. And if I can recall or look back at the history behind where we came from and where we are today, years ago, and I think it was back in 2009, the department, in an effort to provide communication to the public and the service and stakeholder groups of Bruce County, instituted a web-based or a web site that created information that members of the public, the stakeholders could go to gather information about our road conditions. And if I can, Rick, if you click on the, the Adobe file at the bottom there.
No.
No.
That one?
Bear with me here. Yes, that one,
This one here?
I believe. In our earlier days, this is what our patrolmen would enter daily. So we've got the name of the patrolman, the time that he worked, and it sort of gives you a description. You've got one line per day of the activities that were performed within the patrol. We also, if everybody would remember the storms of 2014, and as our web-based program grew, we kept, it was fluid. We kept adding things to it. So what we were trying to do is we then incorporated road reports into our web-based system. At that time in 2014, our patrolman received a call from our dispatcher from Owen Sound that received the information, and then the dispatcher was left to populate that data and into the web-based program. There were several weaknesses identified in that during that year, and it was very evident that, and I communicated this to Brian, it was wrought with errors. And that year alone, the website, our roads website alone, received almost 500,000 hits on just that particular website, excluding tourism, anything else to do with the Bruce County site. The roads site alone received almost 500,000 hits. And I found out today in our earlier inception of our web-based program, or information, back in 2009, I saw that we received one day was 500 hits. So we've grown from 500 to this past year, I think it was close to 20,000 hits in one day. So you can see the magnitude of how much our website has grown, and the reliability of the information is very critical. So because of the fact that it was a high-profile website, and we've got all these people looking at it, and all these errors that were on it, I'm going, we can't carry on this way. So collaboratively, we got together with Rick Aiken, he's a web specialist, Sherry Dillon, myself, and Carrie Meyer upstairs, who unfortunately was not able to attend. And collaboratively, we came up with together, okay, technology's available that's going to reduce and improve our communication levels. So what we have done, Rick, if you want to minimize that, we created a patrolman document that is interfaced with an iPad. And Sherry has the iPad right there. All 4 of our patrols carry these iPads. And instead of using a paper document, which you see now, we now have a program that Rick has got on the screen right now. And Rick, if you can open up the road conditions reporting form. So all the tablets have all this information. So when they log on, you've got the patrol that you're working out of, and each person, all the county department has unique identifiers, so we can track who's entering the data. And all this data is stored. Rick, help me out.
It is, sorry, it is stored here on site. We have a server that's
paperless.
tracking that.
We're now paperless, but all the data, if we have to go back in time, we can retrieve all that data at whatever time. If we have an accident, we have litigation, we can bring those records back and we can review them at a later date. So that was one benefit of doing that. So again, the road conditions reported form, you've got a patrolman, he submits his location, and then what happens is, and these are all things that are necessary for our department, but not necessarily meaning that the public have to know, see what truck number and the road temperature and things like that. So we've got all our trucks on here that are within our fleet. They click the truck that they're driving, it's entered in there. They can slide that cursor along there, and you can see the temperature here changes as you slide the cursor. So that, again, I know Rick is using the mouse there for that, but they just use their finger to slide that cursor across. So all that information, if you can scroll down, Rick, sorry. Then we get into the actual attributes of the actual conditions of the road. What we've done is we've taken that paper copy that I originally showed you, and we've just basically took that and placed it in a what do I want to say, a format that is easily, it's nothing new. This is all stuff that normally what they would do on the paper is they would just check off those things. Now all they have to do is they just touch them. So Rick, if you can, so at any point in time they can actually give you and what this is just a synopsis of what's actually occurring in each patrol. It's not meant to do it road by road. That's not what we want to do. We just want to give the public a generalized information of what's occurring in that area. And we've got wind strength, so there's a bunch of things on here. If we can scroll down, Rick, I'm sorry, I don't know. We've got on here has the ability to track what types of tandems are out there. So again, it's for our information. It's not meant for public knowledge, but again, it has to go back to do with having as much information in front of us if we ever have to refer back to it. Okay? And it has room at the bottom here for additional comments. And that's where they could enter things, help me out, Sherry, such as?
If they're using perhaps a spare truck, or
right.
if they've been called waiting by the OPP, or that
right.
kind of thing.
Okay. So at the end of the day, they hit submit. And what happens if there's nothing else happening outside the patrol besides road closures and things like that? They hit submit. That goes into I want to call it a holding account. Am I correct? Kind of like that?
You are sort of correct. It does. It goes into the database. It kind of sits there until we.
So what we have is we have key time elements throughout the day. We have 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, noon, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 7 p.m. They all these. So it tells you the amount of times that we're communicating information to the public, and these things are automatically queued out at quarter to the hour. And then the reason for that is we're trying to catch the news media, so they have time to take that information and broadcast that information to the members of the public. And again, it goes back to, we're now doing that 7 times a day. You saw the one-line paper. We now have 7 detailed reports a day, so it actually improves our communication and helps our meets our objectives of, if not exceeding our minimum maintenance objectives. But it has to do more importantly with communication. I think it's important. Communication plays a vital role, especially in this area of providing the motoring public key information of knowing what road conditions are like and what's actually occurring outside the area. Good. Rick?
Yes.
Now for the fun part, because this is really cool. What we'd like to do, this is an actual shot of the website as it currently sits right now. What we'd like to do, I'm going to run you through a typical road closure, and this is all something that the patrolman can do at the hand of the iPad. So Rick, if we could go to that, please.
Yep.
So, for example, this past weekend, we did have a few road closures. Bruce County Road 23 was closed on Saturday, and Bruce Road 86. So, at that time, I don't know if any of you were looking at Bruce County website, but you were. And you would have saw on the map, would have shown. Okay, so you didn't see the map here. You didn't see the map on our website. The map will only appear on the website if a road's closed. So it tells you, as soon as you see a map, when you open up the web page, you know something's going on. There's something wrong on our website, or on the roads. So let's do a typical closure, Rick. So we've got the walking patrol, again, it's by patrol. And if you click on here, Rick, please, on the road section. So these are actually so the walking patrol, the patrols are breaking down into the actual roads that they look after to avoid confusion, so they're not closing the wrong road. And we tried to simplify it and make it much easier so that we've identified the actual sections of road and their actual roads within their patrol, so they can't close somebody else's patrol. Because we have Bruce County Road 3 goes through two different patrols. We also have Bruce County Road 4. There's a number of roads that intertwine between patrols, so we wanted to keep it segregated within the patrols. So let's close, would you close?
I didn't close anything yet, but.
Okay, let's close Bruce County Road 3 from Mildmay all the way up to Southampton.
Okay, so you'd have to do that by patrol, so the first
I'm
patrolman would.
sorry, no, let's just go to Paisley.
We'll
Okay,
just do that?
add, and let's do Highway 4 from Hanover to Walken. How's that?
Okay. So there's kind of a two-step process where it adds it to, you can close all the roads in Walkerton or whichever ones you need to close, and it adds it to this next box, and you can kind of review and make sure those are the ones you want, and then once you have them, you can then close them all for that patrol, which we're going to do, right?
So and you get the reason for the closure, so this is preemptive of what OPP are asking us to close it for. It could be any one of these, police investigation, of course, means accident. We don't put accident on there because we don't want the public going, ooh, something's wrong there, or whatever. But just a police investigation, debris, flooding. We try to come up with whatever we could imagine would cause the road to be closed. So we put those on there. And then what we do is we hit submit. And at this point in time, it gives the operator a chance to review before he hits submit again. Gives him one last chance to review that and make sure that that's correct. That's exactly what has to be done. If it's not, he can go back and change that. So he has one last chance to make sure that the information he's providing is correct. And if we hit confirm closures, and we refresh that, and lo and behold, there's an app, and the road closure's there. And
Now we'll open the road just to make
This
sure.
has been really, really good. Rick has done a lot of work. I mean, it's been a lot of effort and thought process. Rick's come up with the creative, it's his mindset that created this application. I got to give Rick a lot of credit, along with Sherry and Carrie, because it's been a collaborative effort. But Rick really, really enjoyed this project. I think it was something that he was able to use his creative mind and his expertise and resources to create something like this. And that's the reason why we won that award, is because of a lot of thought process. We tried to be, when we were doing it, we tried to think of everything possible that would meet our needs, the public's needs. And if I can say, the OPP and the Emergency Control Group, the Bruce Power people, are all relying on this information daily. It's on their website. Actually, the OPP are now in their phone, when people phone in for road conditions, they have a pre-scripted message saying, if this is a road conditions matter, please go to the Bruce County website for road information, because we're receiving a lot of phone calls about that. The OPP, or sorry, the fire, EMS, stakeholders, school boards, things like that are really relying a lot on this information. So again, it became more critical that we were developing something that was going to be a very strong application for the public and the patrons of Bruce County and the businesses. And like I said, I really would like you to extend appreciation to Rick and Sherry and to Carrie for this great project, because it's really enhanced our ability to do our work. And that's what I have to say. Good.
We should open these roads.
Is when you go down below for MTO conditions and they hit you over 511. And then it just seems to be just convoluted. So I think, Rick, you should give MTO a call.
Well, actually,
it's a
our
good point.
program is developed to receive MTO information, but it's there. We have the ability that we could populate that data, but for certain reasons, I don't want to get into it, but
Yeah,
for certain reasons, we've left that off the...
We hear that, we do hear that.
Off our website, or not off our website, but our abilities to do it. Yeah.
Good.
Everyone will be recognized on Tuesday, February 23rd at the Ontario Good Roads as part of the luncheon and special awards, and pretty exciting. And again, congratulations to everyone for the work. It's a terrific project. The part that I liked was that it's a 4-season tool. Quite often in Bruce County, we think about road closures only being in, I don't know, 2 seasons? Sorry. But it does cover for the 12 months out of a year, which I think is very, very powerful.
Thank you, Kelly. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, thank you. I recall 2 of those seasons. One's winter maintenance, and I believe the other is construction. And I guess then there's in between. If I can offer is, yeah, sometimes, yeah, through OGRA, there's interest.
We do own it, we own the code, but we do the code, so we have that. Yeah. It's our
Actually, if I can respond to that, because one of the conditions of receiving the award is it's not proprietary information. In other words, it's available to assist other communities and things like that. If I can offer too, that award out there has now become a standardized, the award for equipment innovation is now a standardized application at Mount Forest at the biking plant. So they have taken on what we have developed and are now using it as a standard with their equipment install. So it's, you know what, I think we're all here to try and help brothers out, right? So I'm hoping that. I forgot to say that actually.
If I can offer, Mr. Chairman, Brent did a lot of work with the OPP because the authority to close roads rests with the OPP. So Brent had to satisfy OPP that this system would be effective enough to always go back and be relied on by the OPP. Also mentioned is from the sending to the website is also sent to a huge amount of people.
There's probably
Hundreds? Yes.
contacts.
Email distribution.
Yeah, an email distribution to Dawn, to media, for them to have current information, and a variety of different sources.
School boards, some local municipalities.
Bruce Power.
Public works.
Yes.
Vendors.
Super.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Brian. That is super. Thank you, everyone, for your hard work, and look forward to being present on Tuesday. It's noon hour. It's pretty early in the day to be getting up to going to awards luncheon, but we'll do what we can. And anything further on that, anyone? If not, then we'll move on to items D on the information agenda, which is tender summary attached. Brian?
Oh, naturally, we would respond to any questions.
Well, I'm kind of into the truck thing today, so I'll ask the question, and it seemed odd, but I know you'll have an answer. That crew cab truck cost us less than the regular cab. Well, why is that? Like, regular cabs, unless that regular cab was loaded right up with something, but the regular cab that we purchased today cost a little bit less than the one that's up with that tandem axle crew cab truck.
Actually, that was noticed by the department, and I'm thankful that Brent's here to help us out and respond to that.
Actually, what it is, what it comes down to, Paul, is that the patrol truck is the regular cab truck is designated as a patrol truck, and part of the safety things that we incorporate into it is fog lights, and it has to be Bluetooth equipped. And believe it or not, those two little things bump you into a different package. These are not separable in your options. They become, if you order fog lights, it comes in with other things that you don't really want. And the same thing with the Bluetooth. So it bumped it into the next, instead of being a work truck, which the crew cab is, because the crew cab is just a plain, I didn't need fog lights and didn't need Bluetooth and that sort of thing. But moving into that regular cab truck, it bumped it into the next level from a work truck, and it's all due part in fact to the fog lights and the Bluetooth device in it. So we have no choice but to accept, or we can't get aftermarket, if you want to call it, things like that to install afterwards.
Yeah, okay, I'm okay with that. I understand. That was just my curious mind had to ask the question, and that explains it very well, so. Anything else today, Brian?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Other than to adjourn you?
Well, we're looking forward to the learning experience next week.
Oh, that's
hoping
true,
that most of the members are joining us at OGRA.
Nothing further. We'll have a motion to adjourn, moved by Ann, seconded by Mike. We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.